Spring training's around the corner. Well, we hope so. If the Phillies do in fact hold camp in Clearwater, we're going to give you all the best places to drink beer.
Hey, you want to open up your own brewery? We've got the place to help you do it.
On today's show, I'm going to take you to Boardroom Spirits in Lansdale, PA, where I'll introduce you to ready-to-drink cocktails.
Good stuff, Sam. Can't wait to see more of that. From the Co-Hops Brewery and Cannery in Hatfield, Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow. All new episode of What's Brewing.
Brewing is brought to you in part by Montcomb Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism Convention Board. Download the app. By Visit Bucks County. Travel the Bucks County Ale Trail. Check in digitally to 5 or more breweries to score a free t-shirt. Get your passport at visitbuckscounty.com. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company. Visit conshahockenbrewing.com for the latest releases, location hours, menus, and online store.
You don't have to go away to get away. Go and explore. Find the small businesses that make where you live a community. When you dine, choose homemade. On a free weekend, discover the great outdoors. And if it's brewed here, enjoy it with friends. Support small for an experience you won't find anywhere else. Make it local, make it Main Street, make it Motco.
Hey, welcome to What's Brewing. He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. We're at a fascinating place today in Co-Hops Brewery and Cannery in Hatfield. Basically, they help others get off the ground and build their breweries, and they have an amazing array of beers.
They're sort of like a contract brewery, but they will, have brewers come in and make their own beers here. I mean, look at this. These are all different breweries we're talking about.
And we're going to try them all.
Yes.
This one is an Orange Twister Milkshake IPA by Radiant. I'm enjoying. What do you got?
This is 215 Light Lager from Sutton Brewing. It's a startup that's supposed to open up in Philly someday soon.
You're turning into a light beer drinker, and this worries me.
Yeah, well.
I'm seeing a lot more of that out of you.
I do balance my beer drinking.
All right, well, I want to try to get you going in a different direction because our beer swap today is brown ales. I like brown ales. When we were at McAllister Brewing about a month ago, we had theirs, and I enjoyed it a lot, which got me thinking about this because it's a style, Joe Sixpack, I don't see enough of it.
It's true. Brown ale, it's somewhat, sort of a boring beer.
Not in my mind.
I know, but it doesn't, it's not big and hoppy, it's not strong. It's a dark beer, obviously, but it's not as strong and heavy as a stout or even a porter. It's what's been described as comfort beer.
I like comfort beer. So what I have for you is a Foley Brothers double maple brown ale out of Vermont. So they put a lot of maple right out of the tree. It's Vermont, the maple syrup into it. A hefty 8.2% IPA.
All right, so maybe this one is a big beer.
Yeah.
You can make it
a little sweet, but I enjoy this beer.
Actually, I don't think that the maple is overwhelming in this beer, Glenn. This is a really nice brown ale.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Very
Okay,
enjoyable.
what do you got?
I have a classic in my mind. This is from Voodoo Brewing out in western Pennsylvania. Winona's Big Brown Ale.
Oh yeah, we discussed this a few episodes ago because I know you're fond of the can art.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a really nice can. And Voodoo's been around for a long time. They've had some ups and downs during the pandemic. I'm glad to see that they survived. I remember drinking this beer 10 years ago and was amazed at it, and I still am, in spite of all the great advances in beers. This one really holds its own. It's a brown ale. It is a little bit stronger as well. It's a 7.5% alcohol beer.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we talk a lot about styles that catch on, and this is one that really hasn't. There are different styles of brown ale. I'm reading up that an English brown ale is different from an American brown ale. English brown ale is kind of maltier.
A little maltier, I mean, because America is all about the hops.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that distinction holds as much any longer, because we've seen American brewers making British style and vice versa. So
you said the word, and it's the condemning word. They're boring. I don't think they're boring. I guess they're not hoppy,
yeah,
so
they're
that
just
makes
good.
them boring?
They're just good. Is that,
Yeah.
and that should be good enough.
Okay,
So,
that
yeah,
works for me. I guess there's not a lot of complexity to it, so maybe that's why they don't pop.
Typically, you just want a balanced beer. You know, you want it to be dependable. Sort of like Charlie Brown. That's what I think of.
Good grief.
Yeah.
All right, well, I like it, and I think this is a fine beer, and I hope it's a solid. Listen, I started with, when I was, drinking beer in my younger days, and everything was just kind of the same American lagers, Samuel Smith's Nut Brown Ale, Newcastle Brown Ale.
Yeah,
I thought those were really fun.
Those are both English style brown ales, and they were very popular, especially in the Philadelphia area. So it's been left behind, but you can find them out there.
I want more. I like it. All right, let's get to a little news going on. Tonewood out of New Jersey, good brewery. They got something going on.
Right, they have just expanded into their new facility. It was a former lumber yard. It's way bigger than their previous place. I think it's probably, I don't know, at least 3 times the size of theirs. So you're going, even if you don't go over there to Barrington, where they're going to be located, where they are located, you'll see a lot more of their beer, including on this side of the Delaware, because they have a bigger production facility there.
Good for them. Good. We wish them luck. Hey, one more quick thing on brown ales. Difference between a brown ale and a stout.
A stout is an ale. They both are ales,
Right.
but the stout's going to have a much bigger malt bill in it, and it's going to typically be more higher in alcohol, but it's going to be a thicker, heavier beer when you drink it.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Good stuff by you. As always, coming up, it's winter. You're bored. You're in a small town in Montana. Thankfully, we're not. What do? You try to ride a bar stool down a mountain. How's that going to work out? I don't know. We're at the Co-Hops Brewery and Cannery in Hatfield. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow for What's Brewing.
When you can actually see the craftsmanship that went into making something, you're transported back to a simpler time.
There's nothing quite like the feeling of freedom that you get riding in the open cockpit of a biplane.
Like the many Pennsylvania plein air artists who came before me, I found inspiration for my art in the hills and the valleys of Bucks County. Bucks County is my home.
Bucks County is my home.
And Bucks County is my home. Visit Bucks County, where home feels like a getaway.
Welcome back to What's Brewing. He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. We're at the Co-Hops Brewery and Cannery in Hatfield, where there's an array like you wouldn't believe. And so what do you got?
This is Steel City's Dark Lager over in Phoenixville. They've been around for a little bit, but now they're out canning to get their name out there a little bit more. I think the Dark Lager is one of their standard beers, and now you can get it in cans.
Another style
brewed right here.
Yeah, another style we both like that's not around us. This is the Choosy Chowie Wowie. I'd be embarrassed to order that, but nonetheless, made by Bucks County Brewery.
Another brewery that's been around,
Yeah.
and but they're looking to expand their footprint by canning it and getting it out there to a bigger market.
6.8% IPA.
Looks
Pretty hazy.
pretty hazy.
Yeah, nice. Okay. It's winter. You're bored. I mean, you probably are, and that's why you're watching
now.
Hush. Thank you. Anyway, but if you live in, what's the name of the town? South Fork, Montana. You go to the South Fork Saloon, where they host the annual bar stool races. Let me give you the background on this. Started back in 1978, 2 drunk guys in the saloon had an idea. One of them was challenged to see if he could make it down the main drag in their town. Actually, it's Martin City, Montana, which I guess is a downhill and was covered with snow and ice. And if he could make it downhill on a bar stool, and he said, "Can I do it on a bar stool on skis?" His friend said, "Sure." Tacked the skis onto the bar stool. Apparently, they said it's a 750-foot hill. He made it most of the way and landed on his face. The next year they said, let's do a thing.
This sounds like the beginning of a great tournament here.
Yes. So you're going to see, we have video of this thing, and it's now an annual event where, like, for a day or two, they have these outdoor goofy Olympics, and this is part of it. And you're allowed to build any downhill device you like, as long as you're sitting on a bar stool.
On a bar stool.
Right.
That's a great idea. Brilliant.
And one rule is you have to pass the finish line in the drinking position.
All right. But it's been going on for a while. In fact, for a while, I don't think it exists anymore, but out in the Bonneville Salt Flats, they used to have bar stool races for a time. And I actually interviewed the world record holder at one point. It was a woman.
Yeah, good.
And she hit 53.5 miles per hour on a bar stool. Amazing.
Wow.
And get this, it was operated by a battery, not a full engine.
Well, cheers to her, and you know what? You and I may have to try that on the show one day, all for the good of the show. All right, let's go to Sam Stafford. She's at Boardroom Spirits, where they got a lot going on.
Thanks, Glenn. Today we are at Boardroom Spirits in Lansdale, PA, and I am with the owner, Murat Mamadov. Murat, you guys have been here for 6 years now. Would you ever thought back in 2016 that you would be as big as you are already?
You know, when my wife, brother, and I started out in this journey of creating a distillery, you know, we obviously wanted to have a successful and growing business. From what we started in our initial building with production to expansion in our current tasting room, you know, we're proud to what we've grown to. We have aspirations for growing even bigger, and we've been very fortunate to be part of a great community here in Lansdale that's helped support the business. Initially, when we started off, we wanted to be a wholesale distribution company first, relying on distributors in other markets. Then we extended into this tasting room, which we're now currently converting into an events venue and wedding venue. So if you have any events coming up, think of us. Pre-COVID, we were very much focused on our distilled spirits, like Boardroom vodka, our Northbound bourbon, which are all available in Pennsylvania state stores. But as a result of folks not being able to get the great cocktails they could get here at the bar, we had to rethink things, and our director of ready-to-drink cocktail programs, Mike Podlegar, really did a fantastic job of formulating, creating, and owning, and executing and running the program. So.
Now we're with Mike Podlegar. Mike, one of the coolest features about the ready-to-drink cocktails are the fact that it's all natural and local ingredients. Can you tell us about that?
Right, so kind of going along with our brand's overarching policy of being transparent, dedicated to real ingredients, and simple, easy to understand. None of the ingredients in these bottles are going to be weird scientific words that you can't pronounce. This is just real fruits, and what we do is just interesting flavor combinations, like this one, the vanilla peartini. It's real Madagascar vanilla beans. They're $8 a bean right now, but we're dedicated. We used some local Seckel pears for that one. And this just goes in line with everything we do at our distillery. We have a native plant garden out here at our event space. We have 96 solar panels powering the whole thing, and it just goes along with our entire message.
And one of the things that's really cool about this place that people might not know is you have one of the biggest stills. Is it in the state? Is it?
Currently, it's the biggest still in Pennsylvania, just about 2,000 liters. And that allows us to create extremely, extremely clean spirits, no impurities whatsoever, perfect taste, especially for these ready-to-drink cocktails. Tastes like juice. It's actually a little dangerous. But all of this, again, powered by clean energy, really brings the story together.
Mike, so you have the ready-to-drink cocktails in the bottle, but then what are the difference between your cocktails in a can that we have right down here?
Well, the bottles are great, especially if you're hosting at home. It's 7 full-strength cocktails right there. Throw them in your fridge right next to your case of cans, and you're ready to go anytime you want. Crack these bad boys open. These are rapidly replacing people's beers. They're, there's non-carbonated, like our iced teas, our lemonades, and then you got our vodka sodas, my favorite, the Moscow Mule, and gin and tonics as well.
And then when you come to Boardroom Spirits, you also have a really cool feature where you can make your own cocktail bar. So what kind of different features do you have at that?
Well, we do a rotating seasonal menu. We do 3 different syrups, 3 different juices, 4 different liqueurs, bitters, and all sorts of garnishes. And basically you just have at it. You select one of our airline bottles, or you can actually just grab one of these. These are small single-serve cocktails. Same exact thing that's in the bottle there. Pour this over ice, shake it up, and make a nice cocktail right here. It's an immersive experience, and people have a lot of fun.
Don't forget that you can check out everything you just saw here today at boardroomspirits.com. They have shipping statewide and then delivery to the greater Philadelphia area. And Glenn, they sent some of their portfolio your way, so let us know what you think.
Here's Sam.
Well, thank you, Sam, and what a great idea. So I'm drinking, they make basically an old fashioned, I think they call it a smoked fashion, Boardroom Spirits. Good stuff. What about you?
This is the blackberry mojito.
There you go, pre-mixed, delicious, ready to go.
Not
Hey,
bad.
coming up, we hope there's going to be spring training this year. You may have already booked your trip down to Clearwater. Joe Sixpack knows all of the great places you should go. From Conshohocken Brewery and Cannery in Hatfield, Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow on What's Brewing. Glen Macnow here with Andrew Colligan from Conshohocken Brewing Company. Let's run down the new lineup of exciting beers, starting with Type A.
Our #1 selling beer, big citrus hop notes and nice dry finish, the quintessential American IPA.
Ring the Bell Pilsner.
And that's our fastest growing brand. It's a smooth, easy drinking Pilsner to enjoy during a game.
Life Coach.
Hazy, 100% citra hop session IPA, the perfect beer for all day at the golf course or the pool.
Puddler's Row ESP.
That's our malty, roasty English pub ale, 2 silver medals at the World Beer Cup, maybe the best English ale in the country.
MC5, my favorite.
Double dry hopped IPA, it's all the juicy goodness you want in a hazy IPA.
Philly Vice.
It's our rotating series of fruited sours, light and easy drinking.
Mr. Robusto.
Dark chocolatey porter, perfect dark beer for a cold winter's night.
All exciting beers. Enjoy them all and a whole lot more at Conshohocken Brewing Company's 5 PA locations and wherever fine beer is sold.
Cheers.
Welcome back to What's Brewing from Conshohocken Brewery in Cannery in Hatfield. He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. I am enjoying, it's a blonde ale that they make here to honor the Travis Manion Foundation. Part of the money goes to that. Good stuff. What about you?
This is Battle of Wits, which I love the name of it. It's a Belgian wit style beer from Loso Brewing, which you've not heard of yet because it's not open. They're going to be opening up eventually in Lower Southampton.
Very nice. Okay. As we do this show, we don't know whether baseball is going to be back this year and in what form, but we know that Phillies fans probably already booked their trip to Clearwater. If there's a game, or if there's not a game, where are they going to go? To me, it's always Frenchie's for a grouper sandwich and a beer.
You can't do worse than that. That's or better than that.
Yeah,
rather,
you
I
can
should
do
say.
worse than that. It's a great place.
Yeah.
But you're going to give us the spring training Bay Area beer guide. Joe Sixpack, I go to you.
Okay, I've been down there a number of times and I've scoped out the scene and it's really expanded because it used to be not much down there because it was Florida, but then Cigar City opened up right near the airport there and that turned everything around and that is really the first stop you got to make.
Right, nationally recognized brewery, really good stuff.
Absolutely, really fantastic beers. It's a must stop.
Never been to their place. I've had their beer, but I've never been to their place.
Very close to the airport. The other place I should mention down there that has been there for a while is Yingling.
That's right.
I'm not wouldn't necessarily go out of my way yet there, not this year, but next season perhaps. That's when you want to go there because they're going to be opening up a new campus with a hotel, concert pavilion, dining and an interactive brewing museum at their facility.
Oh, an interactive brewing museum.
Yeah,
how have I lived all these years without one of those? But they have a tasting room and so on now, at least?
I believe you can go there for tours, but it would not be at the top of my list until next season.
We'll go there next year.
Right. All right, so a few others, though, that I really highly recommend. Ybor City. It's right on the outskirts of Tampa. Fine place for cigars if you're
Ybor
into
City is the old Cuban community where you get the cigars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Coppertail is there in Ybor City. Really a nice, fine, big place. Nice outdoors facility as well. It's a must-stop. Get their Belgian-style triple. It's a fantastic beer. 2 other places.
Coppertail. Okay.
Coppertail. Actually, one other real important
Wait, can
place.
I buy Coppertail up here?
You can actually. They are up here every once in a while. Not all the time, but you do see them. And the other big hint I can give you is go to Dunedin. Clearwater is not really much of a downtown. It's got you're out on either on the beach or the main part of Clearwater is like Cherry Hill, New Jersey is like big lots of traffic jams. Dunedin is a beach community.
Dunedin is the Blue Jays,
The
right?
Blue Jays are in
yeah.
Dunedin, very close. It's actually very close to the Phillies ballpark. But Dunedin has, at last count, 8 breweries, and
Really?
all of them within walking distance.
Wow.
And some of them are dynamite. Just fantastic places that I recommend any of them.
All right, can I throw in one more place?
Sure.
Assuming the ballpark is open.
Right.
That place out in left field, right? The Tiki Bar in left field.
Yeah, you can't. Frenchie's
right?
Tiki Pavilion.
Frenchie's Tiki Pavilion, right? With the waitresses in very skimpy outfits. Not that I noticed that because I'm watching the ball game.
Right.
But, you know.
You can't beat it. You
Good
can't beat it
stuff.
for a fun time if you can get a seat, because
Go early.
go early, or bring your motorized bar stool with you there.
There you go. No, it is really good. And by the way, that place is especially good to go to because it will take your mind off of the Phillies bullpen, which
Yeah.
I hope is
Yeah.
not as horrible as
really.
it was last year, but we don't know. All right, coming up, we're going to talk to Joe Modestine about this amazing place that we're at, where it's like they brew for other people, they brew for themselves. They got so much going on here. It is very exciting. We're at the Co-Hops Brewery and Cannery in Hatfield. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with What's Brewing. Welcome back to What's Brewing. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow. We are at the Co-Hops Brewery and Cannery in Hatfield, joined by Joe Modestine, runs this place. I don't even know how to characterize it. You're a brewery, but you're kind of your brewery, and then you're everybody else's brewery. How does it work?
Basically, yeah, we consider ourselves an incubator for breweries.
Oh, I like that.
I think over the last 3 years, 2.5, we launched 13 brand new breweries that started, worked on their licensing all the way up until getting beer on the street.
So I want to start a brewery. I'm doing it in my house. I'm doing it great.
Yep.
Maybe I have a spot in mind, but I'm not quite ready. I come to you.
And then what we can do is get your brands going onto the street, and more or less getting you up and running all the way to selling to the distributors or into the bars. So it's the beginning phase, and then the next evolution is to create your own brewery, like Loso, like Radiant, to where they're actually doing their build outs right now and soon to be open to the public shortly.
Yeah, and you can come here as a customer, as a beer drinker, and try these beers right here in the brewery.
Yeah, we feel we know we're the only one in Pennsylvania that is a 100% contract brewing facility that is open to the public. Most of them are the large facilities, like City Brewing in Latrobe, which ironically I started at. So we started the R5 at that facility 13 years ago. And it's kind of how I'm where I am today, because I started out as a contract brewer without a facility and grew into one.
So at any given time, how many different upstart brewers are you working with?
Well, ironically, since January, I think we started 4 brand new breweries just since January. So we're 3 weeks in and launched 4 brand new breweries.
And their goal is to have their own place, their own facility, but their brewer comes in and works with you on his or her style, his or her brand.
Correct, yeah. The brewer can come in and actually spend a whole day and do the brew themselves if they wish, but for the most part, they'll come in and support our lead brewers through the process, yes.
So people come to you and they have an idea, right? And I mean, I see, what we're seeing here are IPAs and lagers and stouts.
Vienna lager and Belgian wheat
and
beer.
and all styles of beer. Is there any time, has anybody ever come to you with an idea and you say either I can't do that or that's just a really bad idea? Marshmallow fluff ketchup ice cream is probably not going to catch on.
No, and our chief brewing operator, Eric Welp, he pretty much has to deal with the recipes and handling the client's aspects to what the beer is ultimately going to be. But for the most part, they provide pretty solid recipes, and what we like to do is just kind of tweak them over the series of brewing the beer, like we did with the Juicy. So it's an evolution throughout the entire process, not just on the beer. So
The thing I think is really cool is that we are really literally the brewery's right here. Right over here is all the seats. I mean, you really are basically drinking in the brewery here.
So people can come, what are the hours people can come and try all this out?
So the tap room's open Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, it will be back open in spring, and we open from 4 to 8 o'clock usually.
Okay.
Saturday, we open up at 12.
And for the aspiring brewer who's watching this show right now, right? He just finished up his last batch, and he says, I can do that. How does he or she get in touch with you?
If you just go to cohopsbeer.com or Google us, you can see we have right on the website a Become a Brewer, and you can click on that and it'll send an email directly to me, and then we can start from there.
Well, Joe, I got to tell you, I think what you do is a great public service because you help people get started. No, you do. You help people get started and you kind of coach them along the way. What's been your biggest success story before we get out of here?
What I enjoy is seeing the brands start and then actually grow out of the facility.
Yes, your children all leave
Exactly.
the flock and so on. Is there one that you look at now and say like, hey,
well,
that was us.
Kenwood Original Light. We started those guys,
We've
and,
had that.
and they grew very fast, and before we knew it, we couldn't support how much they were needing. It's good to see Radiant Beer Project and Loso Brewing Company building their own locations as we speak, and soon to be their own full-fledged brewery and out from within the Cohops family. So that's the fun part.
We've certainly enjoyed our time here and enjoying the vast array of beers that you guys make. Joe Sixpack, I will see you next week. Joe, thank you for having us. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week on What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Moncome Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism Convention Board. Download the app. By Visit Bucks County. Travel the Bucks County Ale Trail. Check in digitally to 5 or more breweries to score a free t-shirt. Get your passport at visitbuckscounty.com. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company. Visit conchohockenbrewing.com for the latest releases, location hours, menus, and online store.